Hey guys, welcome to Nine Lives Energy. My name is Chrissy Smith, and together we energize your body from the inside out. I am happy to have Deborah Robinson with me this morning, or we're going to call her from now on practitioner Deborah. And she is going to tell us a little bit about what's going on with all these energies that are affecting us all at the moment in different ways. And right now we have a lot of planets that are going to be going into retrograde. Aries, the north node just switched. The north node just switched into Aries, and the south node is then going to be in Libra. So that is asking us collectively to kind of take a look at our relationships and to also have a sense of self and how we use these relationships to move forward or to digress or ones that are going to be impacting us for our best and highest good. And sometimes those might show up in the form of challenges. So I want to talk to Deb this morning about all these things that are going on. I just celebrated my second birthday. I gave myself, because I'm a Leo rising, another birthday. And I feel like I have rebirthed myself. And I'm like, well, I want to have another birthday if that's a rebirth. So yesterday I celebrated my first birthday as a Leo rising. And I think everybody should do that. Why do you want to just limit yourself to having one birthday when we're actually two parts of a whole when we come into this reality? We are a sun sign. And we're also a rising sign. And when we realize that about ourselves, what a powerful experience this is, because you get to learn so much about who you are, why you came here, what your lessons could be in this lifetime in order to empower you to be more spiritually grounded for your evolution in this lifetime. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Deb. We both challenged ourselves this morning by getting up mega early. And it was something that was uncomfortable for both of us, but we were going to lean into those changes and do something new. And why just do something new by yourself? You can do something new with someone else or by yourself. It's just as rewarding. But I wanted to pick up the energies this morning from the elements outside and being around the water that's across the street from us. But something told us that we needed to be over here in the playground. Because why, Deb?
Because it's a Leo cycle, baby.
All right. Leo is all about having fun.
Yes.
So this is probably why, I started wearing cat ears around and just loving myself and my inner child. So we're going to talk about what Leo means. Leo means the heart energy, and how is Chiron and Aries affecting that part of our lives, and asking us to take a look at what we are doing with our wounds that maybe we have, and treating ourselves with love and compassion, healing ourselves with love and compassion, and forgiving those people that maybe have hurt us, so that we can move forward and we don't hold on to that anymore. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Get me together, Miss Techie Lady.
There you go. That's fine. Yep.
All
just
right.
talk like that.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. As Chrissy has said, we are here at one of our parks, Hester Park, and it's a beautiful morning. And I thought that I wasn't going to be able to get my breath work in, because I've started doing breath work through Art of Living, learning how to breathe properly and work on these organs, these lungs, oh my goodness gracious. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to have time. So when we got here, Chrissy and I sat in the car, and she had that idea of breathing, doing breath work before we got started. I'm like, dang, that's what I'm talking about. And so as we walked around the park to find the place where we were to make this presentation, I looked over here and I saw the playground area. I had one other place in mind, but Spirit knows all things, which means it flows through us to bring those all things into manifestation. And so looked over here and I thought about Leo. Leo started on the 23rd of July, which was Sunday. And that's the playful side. Mm-hmm. And its keyword is I will. Its ruling planet is the sun. And just think about that, just the willingness. That's what yes is all about, the willingness. But it has been where we didn't even know that we had willingness in order to say yes to our higher soul versus the ego that's present in Leo. So this is our classroom to learn how to keep that childlike energy, because it is our childlike that never got harmed.
Yeah.
It was the innocence.
Yeah.
So Leo is saying you have innocence still within you, and that is where you're to come from. So I got on the swings, did the sliding boards, and there's a separate video for that. But this is like energizing. And Leo, listen to this. It's the performer. It's the child, the clown. When I tell you they don't mind stage, they don't mind stage. And that is because this morning when I was getting my download, thinking about Leo and it representing that lion. And so we have really done an injustice in teaching it correctly according to the book of Deborah. And that,
where do you buy a copy of that?
Anyway, right here. And it's free. You can load it, download it. And so I was thinking, all of our education has taught us that the lion is the king of the jungle. Honey, when I say, the lioness, because it has that divine feminine energy with it that is now present in our present moment, and she's coming alive. And so when you look at the nature stories, documentaries on television and on YouTube and everywhere else, it's common to know, honey, that lioness, when I tell you gets the job done, she gets the job done. And so the recognition of the female, the feminine energy through males, so it does not leave anyone out. It's everyone, because it comes together as a community. So what we have now, we've got Leo, we got Mercury, and then we also have Venus in there. And Venus went retrograde on Saturday. So what does that mean? Because Leo and its ruling planet, as I said, is the sun, the life force. It gives light to the moon. Without it, the moon doesn't have a light, and it's reflective, and we can look up into the heavens to see. So this is a very magical time that we get to stand on the stage of life, and we have a healthy ego, because you can't get rid of the ego. If you do, then you're past tense. You're that beginning line, and you going to the end, you're done. So the ego can be healthy. And this is the perspective that it is allowing it to be healthy. Why? Because it's heart-centered. That's what it's all about. It represents the heart. So Venus is that love symbolism. It's that magic. It's that mysticism, because we can't see our heart, but we know that our heart is there. We can feel our heart beating. We know without the heart, again, it's a past tense. You have stepped over into the next life dimension. So with Venus going retrograde, and again, the retrograde is, this morning was the word for me was repair, because it looks like that planet is going backwards, but it's not. It's slowing down so things can be illuminated. So that they can become bigger, because things are the bigger picture now, because you've got Taurus, and Taurus, Jupiter is still there. So things are big, and it wants us to see the big picture, which goes to the North Node that we're talking about is in Aries, and then that South Node is in Libra. This is relationship all day long. Our relationships have to change, and they have to change according to our mind. And our mind has different thoughts now. We don't have the same thoughts of what the logical life was like, what the ego life is like. We are living in that newness, and that newness lets us bring forth it in a childlike manner, having fun, having good time. It's entertainment. It's creativity. And I was reading that this morning too about Leo, and its main focus is creativity. Let me slow down for just a second, because when we look at today's chart, there's what's called a finger of God in there. And it's so powerful because it consists of where two sides are at 150 degrees, and it's called a quincunx. So we have it in Pisces, Capricorn, and Leo. And where the point comes together like this, and where the point comes together, that's the focal point. Guess where the focal point is? Leo. And so it is letting us know that our hearts are being repaired. Because again, cardiovascular disease is still the number one killer of life. And so we are getting to the places where we are living and we are doing and we are being from the heart source. I have my heart on representative today. Yay for the heart. And the repairing of it, every muscle can be repaired. I saw this big caption, and all I did was took in the caption because the caption was talking about muscles can be repaired. The heart is a muscle, and it can be repaired. And we are in the re-seasons with all these retrogrades. Listen to these retrogrades. You've got Venus that's retrograde, Saturn. Saturn is still in Pisces, and it is there with Neptune. Pisces is our spiritual planet. It is the peace planet. It is getting rid of addictions. It is the mysticism. It's our spirituality. And then you got Saturn that's retrograde because it's the father time. It's the wisdom. It's where our boundaries, it's laws. Listen, that all of those things that are governing bodies to assist us and to help us. And so it is saying, slow down. These boundaries that you had, they were limitations.
Sometimes the boundaries we place on ourselves.
Period. Period. When we look at all of our environment, because our environment was very important. And so as we see, we were conditioned to live that egoic self, okay? But that is not the God self. And so we're coming into balance. There again, that's where the South Node is all about, because we can look back and we can see that those were the things that we were trained in, and we're good at it. The South Node says, you were good at that, but the North Node is saying there is something different that you're now to go. There's an elevation, there's an evolution, and we're all evoluting. That's a new word. We're all evoluting to that place of where we've got to have somewhere to go. And it is more of eternal. It is more of that's non-limiting, because we're in the age of Aquarius.
On the cusp.
The age of Aquarius is all about freedom.
Yeah.
It's all about humanity. And it's all about our groups changing. So we're not having the same relationships that we've been taught that brings what? Hurt, pain, disappointment, depression. You got some more to name?
Lack of motivation,
lack of finances, right. And Venus is here again. It involves Venus. Everybody has gotten on board for humanity. These planets are on board to be those invisible forces to assist us in our creativity so that we can think for ourselves. We haven't had the ability to think for ourselves, think how we've been educated.
Yeah.
And so this is breaking us free. We're getting out of jail, baby. And nothing is hanging over our head.
We ain't getting out of jail free, because it's going to take some work, but it's not. You don't really have to pay for the work. You just have to have the motivation to want to do the work.
Exactly. Let me take you one higher than that. Let's do inspiration.
Yes,
because that motivation is somebody's got to be behind you, pushing you. but inspiration is hard.
Yeah.
And it allows you to see yourself, because Aries is what I am. That is the God self within us, giving us that physical ability to do it. Because if you don't have the physical ability, well, I've seen some people do some miraculous things that have what we call disabilities and what we call normal, and our span of what we call normal is expanding because, again, somebody gave us that limited view. Again,
I call
Saturn.
it a challenge, not a disability.
Exactly.
A disability is something that you tell yourself means that you're disabled, means that you are not able.
Right.
A challenge means you just got to do a little bit more work to have the same result. And that's it.
You're creating something, right?
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And you just creating it. And when you stop and when you think about the gratitude of all these things here, and today Chiron went retrograde in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. So, honey, if I don't know if you can see the sun beaming in on us, but it feels like what it truly is. It's a healing energy. We've been told to get out into the sun at least 20 minutes a day to get that vitamin D in, to get that light into our physical beings. And so this energy is energizing us. All we have to do is be that feminine divine that we receive. We have to be receivers, because other than that, we're resisting. And we have to keep at thought that we don't even know the places that we're being resisting. And these are information that's out here to share with individuals so that they will know how. Playground. Oh, what a perfect atmosphere this morning. Childlike. So that the ego won't be misrepresenting who you are. You hide in that shadow self. And when you come out on stage, you got to work so hard. Excuse me. You got to work so hard to be that actor, the sun sign, what we expect. But you can be that ascendant sign, which is the soul part of us, that part, that journey that we came in to balance with the sun sign. That's what the Libra South Node is all about, putting that part into balance with the Aries, the I am, the childlike, so that that comes into this leader that we all are. It's not just some that are leaders. We all have that capacity within us, that space availed when we came into. And so now it's awakening, and it's coming to pass that we're standing up in the wholeness, being healed from those things of the past. We now realize that they really did not come to hurt us. They came for us to heal them. That's the miracle in it, that we conquer that human side, and then we treat humanity in such a way that we can live together. So we're starting at the low level, and the low level is the beginning level. That's the fool's journey, all the way to the world, when we look out and realize that we had everything, and we have everything with us, within us. And if we got it within us, then it does apply to the external as well. Nothing is missing and nothing is left out. And so in the esoteric part of Leo, it's to have a healthy ego without aggrandizement. There's nothing like an arrogance. And that's all aggrandizement is. It's making it more than what it is. And so it says that you can have a healthy ego, feel good, walk strong wherever you go. You can have joy. You can feel good because you are goodness. You come from goodness. This universe is full of goodness, which is so much abundance. So much abundance. And so all of these retrogrades that are happening to again slow us down so that we can repair and bring out the very best of us, which is our highest goodest. And then you have Pluto, that's still retrograde in Capricorn. And it is a part of that finger of God. It's the practical things that we must stay grounded in. And it is all about practicality now because we are bringing in what the true value is. What the true value is, and the true value is goes right back to Taurus, which is our self-worth. Remember, because Venus is the ruling planet with Taurus and it shares it with Libra too. So here you got Venus that's running double duty and it has turned retrograde for us to be reminded of what the true value is. Because again, we have been given the definitions of what value is all about. Somebody always places the value on something else. And so therefore, when we think about placing the value of us, oh my goodness gracious, we priceless, baby. We're truly, truly priceless. We're magical. We have these beautiful bodies that carry these beautiful inward light that we have. And so being able to practice that inward light, which is our psychic abilities, the light is on, the intuition, the light is on, so that we can beam high to be able to have those dreams no longer become dreams, but they become realities in the here and in the now. And so Chiron is taking us on a deeper journey for healing. So while we're healing, we're evolving. All this stuff is happening simultaneously. We're getting healed and we're moving. Our thoughts are changing like lightning because we're learning the spiritual things. And Pisces, remember I said very spiritual. So it is really chumping it up. Then we had Mars that moved over to Virgo. Oh, and when I say here we go, Mars with the self-critic, Mars and Virgo. Virgo is that self-critic. I have a friend. When I tell you that person can find some stuff to criticize. And so I turn that, what I hear them saying, and it keeps me on my toes so that when I'm being a self-critic of me, and I'm like, oh gosh, who is that talking? We not talking to Deborah like that. We not gonna talk to her like that. And what is there to criticize anyway? So my mind goes back to joy, whatever's lovely, whatever's pure, whatever's of a sweet mind, sweet spirit, of kindness. Because I was telling somebody yesterday, there's a difference in being nice and kindness. People can be nice, but kindness comes from the heart. You are very tender with one another. You really are very tender. So our groups are changing. So that means that in this time, especially with the Venus retrograde, you may have people come from the past. They may show up. They're coming so that we can take a look at that because something needs to be finished there.
Or it's a reminder. Do you need another test? Do you want to take this energy with you? Because if you do, you're going to have another cycle of these repeated patterns. So what Aries and Chiron right now is asking all of us is to take a look at our inner self. Because we have two parts. We have the ego self, which is what people see. That's our projection to the world. And then we have our inner self too. And so that's what Aries and Chiron is asking you to take a look at. What do you feel are the areas of your life that you need to improve upon? You may not think that you need any work, but this is why I like telling people how to recognize their birth or read their birth charts. Because Aries and Chiron is touching everybody's chart placement in a different area. And so based upon that trajectory, you could see, all right, well, do I need to be paying attention to my resources? What is included in my resources? Well, is it your home? Is it your resources of how you make money? Those kind of things. Or is it affecting another house of your birth chart that talks about your health? And along with health comes your habits, your daily routines. Um, Are there habits that you have that you don't want to have anymore? Aries now is the time for the next 18 months. It's scratching that scab and telling you to say, hey, let's take a look at this right here. Do you still want to be smoking cigarettes? Do you still want to be married to this person? Do you still want to be having this other relationship in your life that every time you come around, this person needs to borrow money from you? You know, it's those kind of things. And oftentimes we help these people. And then we were like, well, why does this always happen? Well, you're participating in that too. How can we heal that part of ourselves? So this is a really good time for you to kind of maybe talk to somebody that is a counselor or an energy healer or a psychotherapist of some kind to help you kind of uncover these things that maybe you can't see, because the heart can't heal what you can't see. And once we see these things about ourselves and we become aware, like, oh, this is me. And then you accept it like, hey, this is me. Do I want to continue, drinking a bunch of alcohol like that and making these decisions? Or do I want to think about why I made that decision to drink the alcohol that caused me to have this result? So that's the inner work, because once you get to the why you eat the way you do, why you choose the relationships that you do, why you choose to participate in different substances, why you choose to don't go the speed limit, and you have all these tickets. What is causing you to make these behaviors, and how can you look at yourself on a deeper level? Because if you don't, it's going to be really hard for you going forward after the next year and a half, because you have been given an opportunity to heal this part of yourself by us being in the sun of Leo, which is our heart self. And I'm looking at these planets and I'm like, man, we got Venus over here, which is a feminine planet. I look at that planet as like our mother planet, our heart. So if we have Venus that's retrograde in Leo, it's like the mother that's given that child a hug and was like, I know that this is painful to go through, but I'm supporting you 100% right now. I'm even slowing down my energy so you can catch up to me and I can help you. That's what I see from this. And then, you see Mercury right here as well. And they're both being, it looks like aspected by Saturn in some point. And Saturn is our grandfather energy that's like, all right, here's our lesson.
Yep.
But you got your mother over here, like protecting your heart. This is your lesson. Come on, let's heal it with love. And you're given the fire to kind of look at that deep wound that you need to heal. And the healing is coming from the lesson that Saturn is pointing at you, like, hey, let's look back at a lesson you're going through now. Let's look back at a lesson that happened to you many years ago that maybe subconsciously you're holding on to. These lessons come to us for our evolution.
Yes.
They don't come to us because it's like, why do these things keep happening to me? Instead of saying, why do these things keep happening to me? Look at it and think, what am I supposed to be learning? And when you shift that, then you can come from it as a place of compassion, because you're saying, hey, I need to look at this. You need to give yourself, and I talked about this the other day on Manifest Monday, so check that out on Instagram on Nine Lives Energy, is you need to treat yourself like you would your best friend. What type of advice would I give Deborah if she was going through a difficult situation that wasn't allowing her to move forward to reach her goal? I would encourage her to keep going. Like, don't worry about those negative comments coming at you. Don't worry that you don't have the finances right now. Don't worry that you're not motivated. It's just one day that you had a slip back. Look at how many steps are behind you. You only took 2 steps back. You've come 100 steps. You're still at step 98 from 0. Yeah. Why do we tell a different conversation to ourselves? We talk ourselves out of so much success because we are afraid of success. We've been told from day one, you aren't allowed to have success. You don't deserve it. And this universe has more than enough abundance for everybody to have it. But you have to do the inner work within yourself in order to see it. in order to become more like your rising sign, so you can look back on your life, see the lessons that you've had, use that as opportunities to be like, aha, I get it now, instead of continuing to not understand why you don't have the relationship that you want in your life. Maybe it's because you need to have a better relationship with yourself, and you don't need to be looking at all these distractions on the television about something that you need to buy, or on the television about something that you need to worry about. This is going on. What can you do about what's going on? Nothing. But guess what you can do about what's going on? Work on yourself. Because once you work on yourself, then guess what? That's like a little drop of like a stone going into the water, and it reverberates out. Okay, think about if Deborah and I both went in there with two stones. All right, look how much energy we are creating by going out and having good energy within ourselves. Look how much energy that we're putting out here.
Yes.
We had a bumblebee that was coming at us, and I sent it love. I was like, I still love you. And I put my hand like that, and it turned around.
It did.
Okay. We have that ability to see the negative energy coming at us and be like, here's my bubble. I'm still sending you love, but no, I don't want that. You go handle that part.
Exactly. Amazing. And while we're right there at the Virgo and the Mars being there, I just had this big picture just unfold before my eyes, because with Mars being in Virgo, and Virgo again, I talked about it being that critical voice, but here's the higher frequency of it is it's about our health.
Yes.
It's about our day to day. And so Mars is the energizer. It's that in sexuality. It is that masculine. So it's giving the earth element and its fiery self. It is helping us to be energized so that we can override the critical voice, and that we can listen to our healthy voice.
Mhm.
And so now we've got some momentum again, because we see how all of this is tied in together. We are getting help from the heavens. The heavens message is coming down, because even when you pointed out again Mercury, because Mercury and Venus, they are just right there together.
Mhm.
They're conjunct together.
Yeah.
And so that Mercury is our communication. So it's saying, I'm communicating to you all what the truth of these things are. And so that's where we can keep the grace applied to ourselves and not put so much pressure on ourselves, because pressure is stress.
Mhm.
And that's also big, big um, initiator of things starting to go awry.
Mhm.
And so, if because awareness, consciousness is on the rise, and as more consciousness is happening, we can take care of those things. We begin to see how this has affected my finances, see how this has affected my health, see how this has affected it. Even as we talk about our government and all of those things dissolving and changing. And so it's morphing into something different. And guess what? And so are we.
Yep.
And here is where patience must come in, to be able to see the greater benefits of all of what is happening, instead of focusing on what is not happening. Because as long as we focus on what's not happening, then we won't see the things that the beautiful, the small things that we can continue to be grateful for. So, again, we've got Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron. All of these things are planets are retrograde, and they are calling us into stillness, more stillness that's grounded.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're meditating. We're doing our breath work. We are eating better. We are seeing better. We're exercising. We're getting out. We're doing some work, and it's paying off. It's paying off for the individual as well as it's paying off for the collective, because that's the greater. That's our in the Aries, that's getting it done.
Yeah.
That's getting it done. And it is at a faster pace. It's quantum energy that's happening. And so it's moving beyond the time limits that we have been taught, and we are moving into the eternal things. So as we keep that in mind, and like you said yesterday, because I hadn't even looked at the full August, and there are two full moons that are happening in August. And on the 8th, we enters the Lion's Gate. There's another portal that's opening. So there's some beautiful happenings that it's calling our attention, so that we can become the entrepreneurs, so new businesses. And so our AI intelligence is being downloaded as well from the universe. So, just let the war minds come on down. That's the aggression. That's Mars. Let the war minds settle on down and hear how we're talking to one another, hear how we're talking to ourselves, because the more we self-love, the more that we're going to be able to administer unconditional love.
Well, I'll tell you, with the North Node going into Aries, as an Aries sun, I can tell you the good and the ugly. If you find yourself in a challenging situation, especially when it revolves around other people, take a big breath before you do anything.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that you want to take a big breath, is because you want to kind of think about what you have to say before you say it. Aries is very impulsive. Aries likes to come across as being angry at times when they don't get their way, or when things don't happen as quickly as they want them to go. They become very frustrated and agitated, very ADHD type frustration. Let's harness that energy by breathing, getting outside in nature, getting off of the computer, because there's some beautiful sides to Aries.
Yeah.
Aries is the let's go do it. I'll be the leader. This is who I am. I'm strong. I can do it. I'm fighting for freedom in a good way, not fighting from anger.
Right.
So try to see how you're showing up in the world. If something triggers you, why is it triggering you? If someone cuts you off, why does that trigger you? Just let it go, because I'll tell you one thing, that person that cut you off isn't hearing that conversation that you're having about them in the car. Okay? You're taking that on. All that stuff you're saying is bouncing. You're in a closed environment, and you're saying all these things, and you're absorbing all that you're trying to project onto someone else. So I'm sending much love to everybody. Do you have anything else to add?
Honey, when I say, I think I done said it all.
I think so.
For now. And thank you all for tuning in to this 9 Lives energy. It is absolutely feels good. I mean, when I say it feels good, it feels good. So let the universe be good to you. And just have some fun. Go and have some fun and keep it. Keep it. That's 1/12 of yourself. Keep the fun part right there.
9 Lives energy. This name actually came from my rising sign in Leo. And 9 Lives, I think about cat-like, is Leo. And I've always had this Leo energy. I just never knew it. And I look at myself as a child, and I was talking to my mom last night. I love to dress up for Halloween. That's very Leo. Being in front of the camera, being on stage. I would make up all these little dances and songs and perform them to my family. All right. That I wanted to be not the center of attention, but I wanted to have fun and play and be creative behind the camera, kind of like that, and do all these little things. So even as a young child, I knew I had this energy within me, but I wasn't able to express it until I knew why I had this energy with me. So this is why I am so passionate about astrology. This is why this lady has come into my life, and I'm so grateful for her. Folks, if you need a birth chart reading, she was reading a little bit about me last night, and I was like, man, I need to go and visit with her again and get some more information. It's so magical.
It is magical.
And, you know, you learn so much about yourself because that's your blueprint. That tells you who you are. That tells you how you're going to show up. That tells you where you might have some challenges in your life. And instead of not knowing when you're going to have those challenges, you can prepare for that so you can play the game of life better.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're going to be stuck in this cycle and you're like, why am I still here at 45, 56 years old? Why don't I have all these things that other people do? Well, maybe you didn't play the game as well. Because, you know, maybe you're dealing with some stuff that you're holding on to because you don't want to take a look at it yet. Now's the time to do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
And if I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
And we're doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. If you need some help with getting some ideas about inner child healing, please leave a comment below. I will get back to you, and maybe we can have a conversation and I can tell you some things that I've done. I'm not going to tell you, you got to do this, you got to do this. Who wants to be told you got to do this? I don't. But I'll tell you, hey, this is what's worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Give it a try. If you keep doing the same old crap, you're going to get the same old crap.
Yep.
So I'm Chrissy Smith. This is Nine Lives Energy. And together we energize your body from the inside out. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, girl.
Bye.
Peace out.